Good morning. It is my honor to welcome you all to the 35th commencement exercises of Beacon College. My name is Dr. Kevin Riley, Vice President of Academic Affairs, and it is my privilege to serve as Master of Ceremonies for this joyous event. It is my pleasure to first introduce the Orlando Brass Quintet to lead us in our national anthem. May I ask all gathered to remain standing. Please be seated. A week ago today, Beacon College lost one of our own. Dr. Nikki Nance, Professor of Psychology and Human Services, passed away after a brief illness. Nikki served Beacon College for over 13 years and touched countless lives. Please join me in a moment of silence as we hold Nikki and her family in our hearts and we honor her legacy. Thank you. Today we are called together to recognize and affirm the achievements of Beacon College's class of 2025. So, good morning, graduates. Good morning, families, friends, faculty, and staff. It is truly an honor to stand here with all of you today at this moment of celebration and transformation. And before I say anything else, I want to say 3 words to you graduates. You did it. You did it. At Beacon College, you did it. You achieved something only 7% of the world's population achieves. You earned your degree, your college degree. You crossed the finish line. You reached the summit. You wrote the papers, passed the tests, showed up when it was hard, and kept going when it would have been easier to stop. You did it. At Beacon College, we know that success doesn't look the same for everyone. We don't believe in one-size-fits-all education, and we certainly don't believe in one-size-fits-all students. You are artists, scientists, entrepreneurs, writers, coders, counselors, dreamers, and builders. Each of you brought your own strengths and your own stories and your own ways of thinking and being in the world. And today we celebrate not just your accomplishments, but the path you took to get here. For many of you, there were moments when this day felt far away. maybe even impossible. But every day you showed up, when things were uncertain, when your confidence wavered, you made a quiet and powerful declaration. I belong here. I can do this. And you were right. Some people see graduation as an ending, and in some ways it is. But I want to invite you to see this day not as a closing chapter, but a brief pause, a brief breath before what comes next. You did it, and now you get to do it again. You get to keep becoming. Keep shaping a world that needs minds like yours, minds that are agile, creative, empathetic, and unafraid to be different. Before I close, I want to thank the faculty and staff who stood beside you. You are the very best. I want to thank the families and loved ones who believed in you. And most of all, I want to thank you graduates for being brave enough to believe in yourself, even when it was hard, especially when it was hard. So as you walk across this stage today, take a moment, take it all in. You did it. And from this point forward, may those three words echo behind you and rise up ahead of you wherever you go, not as a conclusion, but as a reminder. You've done something incredible. You're ready for what's next. You did it. Congratulations, Beacon College, class of 2025. 36 years ago, this month, a courageous and visionary group of parents founded Beacon College. Today, their influence and guiding spirit are continued by the community's fiduciaries, the college's Board of Trustees. It is my privilege now to call upon Dr. Daniel Averbeck, the chair of Beacon's Board of Trustees, to offer the board's greetings and congratulatory message to our graduates. Dr. Averbeck.
Thank you, Dr. Riley. And what a day for celebration this is. And it is truly my honor to welcome all gathered here today to recognize the achievements of the Beacon College class of 2025. My greetings come on behalf of my colleagues who proudly serve on the college's Board of Trustees. At the outset, let me express my sincere gratitude to the parents, guardians, and grandparents of our graduates for trusting that Beacon College was the place where your young adults could not only find acceptance, but also as the place where they would learn to embrace the challenges that life thrust upon them, and then turn those challenges into opportunities to discover their unique strengths. Thank you for the sacrifices you've made throughout the education of your daughters and sons, and particularly for making a Beacon education possible for them. So now, graduates, I invite you to go back to a time when most of you were about to finish high school. Just those few short years ago, it's likely that many of you had at least some doubts about whether you would someday be a college graduate. I know at that time in my life, that was certainly the case for me. And what about you, parents, grandparents, guardians of our new graduates? How many of you had some doubts about whether your student would someday achieve a college degree? So certainly, we've all had doubts. But despite those doubts, just look at the academic accomplishments we celebrate today. Yet for all of us in this assembly, we celebrate even more than your academic achievements. One of the first things visitors to Beacon College want to know is what makes Beacon and its graduates so successful. From my work with Beacon over the past 13 years, I'd have to say it's the courage to take risks, overcome your own and others' doubts, and reach for the life abundant. These are the qualities embraced by the faculty and staff and instilled in you through work in the classroom, interactions with learning specialists, living on campus, and participation in clubs and athletics. Indeed, it's through all these life-changing encounters that you've been transformed from doubters to believers. So what we really celebrate today is the courage to embrace a vision and will that vision into reality despite the roadblocks that life throws our way. My hope is also that we've learned that Beacon's secret to success is greater than any one of us alone. In fact, our courage has its source in the entire Beacon community, the faculty, the staff, learning specialists, coaches, administrators, parents and families, all believing in you. And this is important because I want to really encourage you to not only take pride in your hard work that made all these accomplishments possible, but also to be ever grateful for all those who walked this journey with you. I speak for my fellow trustees and for all at Beacon in congratulating you on your accomplishments today and what it means for those who surround you. The world and society need your involvement and leadership in bettering the larger community. In a very real sense, our future is in your hands. I leave you with some lines of encouragement from a work by John O'Donohue. May you have the courage today to live the life that you would love, to postpone your dream no longer, but do at last what you came here for, and waste your heart on fear no more. Awaken your spirit to adventure, hold nothing back, learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chair Averbeck, for your message and the leadership provided by you and your board colleagues. It is the long-standing tradition at the time of commencement to recognize the academic leaders of each graduating class. This year we have 3 academic leaders to be recognized, 1 salutatorian and 2 valedictorians. Will Marissa Branch, our salutatorian, and Justin Sensi and Charles Dion, our 2 valedictorians, please rise and come forward. I first invite Marissa Branch to the podium.
Good morning, class of 2025, Beacon faculty, family, and guests. It is an awesome honor to represent the class of 2025, speaking on this momentous occasion, but more importantly, to extend my sincere appreciation on behalf of myself and my fellow classmates for many investments extended by all present, which has opened a world of opportunities. As I reflect back 4 years ago, I started my Beacon journey, as I am sure many of you did also. I started with excitement, anxiety, and truthfully, fear of what lied ahead. What I have changed, the same challenge, disappointment, and roadblocks experienced in my 12 years of public education. Standing here 4 years later, I have to reflect on how I have grown my emotionally and intellectually. I contribute this to Dr. Haggerty and his wonderful wife, Oksana, and the administration staff, visions, and creative approach to higher education and neurodiverse students here at Beacon College. I would like to thank all the faculties, especially those in my major and minor, who challenge us and encourage us to build within us a determination to persevere when faced in time what we consider to be difficult. obstacles. It is important to recognize all of the safety nets provided, like our learning specialists and career center, also contributing to a sense of security. Fellow graduates, I realize that we are all on different paths. Some are headed to graduate school, and others are to employment already established, and others still seeking employment. Whatever happens after graduation, I wish you the best. I send this quote from Steve Jobs: "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown you out your own inner voice. And most importantly, have the courage to follow your heart and institution. Stay hungry, stay foolish." In closing, I want to thank my mother, my father, who is unfortunately no longer with us, my grandparents, and my 99-year-old great-grandmother, and my uncles who have done so much, resulting in my being here speaking to everyone as a salutatorian. I hope every graduate enjoys their special day with their family and friends. And goodbye, Beacon, and I will truly miss you, and I'm definitely going to miss all of you.
Thank you, Marissa. I now invite Justin Sensi to the podium.
All right. Good morning, my fellow graduates. Well, the day has finally arrived for us. After countless hours of assignments, sleepless nights, and group projects that have tested our patience and fostering lifelong time of friendships, we all have made it. And I am proud of all of you for reaching this huge milestone in your academic careers. You are not just students in the classroom. You became an essential part of our Beacon community. With some of you motivated to find your learning styles, while others were demonstrating leadership through your clubs, your volunteer work, and your on-campus jobs by supporting one another. As I stand here today as your valedictorian, I am grateful to honor Dr. Oksana and George Haggerty for making Beacon College a safe and wonderful place to be for all of us. And during our time here, we have developed essential skills, I would say, that will prepare us for the future. We have learned to rise from being failures and struggling students in the classroom to confident and successful students who are ready to take on the initiative and to shape the world ahead of us. I'd like to thank the following people who have made the biggest impact in my life, especially here at Beacon. I want to thank Ms. Strazo, Dr. Broxton, Heather, Hannah, and the rest of the amazing faculty and staff for your constant support and for allowing me to build my confidence in myself. To my parents, family, and friends, thank you for believing in me even when I doubted myself. I also want to thank my siblings, Madame Brielle, and my sister-in-law, Erin, for always making me feel special and encouraging me to dream big. And, and lastly, I want to thank my mom for always helping me find my voice. If it weren't for you, Mom, I would not be where I am today. Thank you. Love you, Mom. Before coming to Beacon College, I faced many challenges due to my learning differences. Growing up, I struggled both socially and academically. I was unable to read, write, I couldn't understand social cues, and especially facial expressions. And it was very difficult for me during those times. And although some have told me, and people behind my back have said that I wouldn't succeed, but I refuse to let that affect me, because I learned that overcoming these obstacles, I'm able to do what I am for all of you today, and be the role model for all of you, especially you graduates. So I encourage those graduating today. Love the applause. So I encourage those that are graduating today, I want you all to look around and soak it all in. And you might feel excited, hopeful, you might be unsure, you might be scared, you might assume yourself, asking yourself, what should I do about myself now? Well, honestly, it's okay to feel lost sometimes. Because I know people expect you to have your life figured out right after today. But the truth is, you don't need to. And it's okay, because it's normal to not have something figured out. But you shouldn't let others peer pressure you to make your life decisions. The only person who needs to make those decisions is your future self. Not your younger or your future self, your present self. Because when we were kids, we often thought to ourselves, feeling lost meant we were doing something wrong. But that's not always the case. Feeling lost can be a good sign, because it shows that you're ready to discover something new in your life. People are going to have opinions in your life, even though they may not agree with what you say, but you shouldn't let that dictate your hopes and dreams. And take this time to reflect what matters most to you, because success can be different for everyone. It can be a career of your field, it can be pursuing something entirely different, and that's okay. Because a degree is something that you passionate, that you earn it, because you are an expert at it. You may not be fully, but you have the knowledge of what that degree is meant for you in your careers. But besides from that, life isn't about perfecting everything on the first try. It's about learning and growing from your experience. And let me see. Oh yeah, what matters most is that you keep moving forward and spend every moment you have with those that you love, because you only get one chance in life. Make everything count. And make your next chapter a fresh new start, because to be honest, you all deserve it, because you have came this far in your life. Make this the version of you, of what you want it to be. So with that being said, thank you and congratulations to the class of 2025. Congrats, graduates.
Thank you, Justin. And now I invite Charles Dion to the podium.
Four years ago, I remember having a conversation with two of my anthropology professors. You see, the book of Boba Fett just came out, and we were discussing. Big surprise, I know. Star Wars fan. Now, the show, let's get this straight, the show was terrible. Terrible, but the conversation wasn't. I remember one of my professors talked to me about how they watched the show while having a scientific mind. And in 4 years from now, I too would have a scientific mind. Well, I stand before you all 4 years later, and I can indeed confirm that I have a newly acquired scientific mind. Thanks to my department, of course. With my newly acquired scientific mind and my very passionate desire and just overall whelming appreciation for the scientific community, I keep seeing one certain question being tossed around everywhere I go. Now, this question has been debated for years, many, many years, hundreds of years. and still has yet to find a solidified answer. That question that has been debated for years being, what is the great separator that separates humans from non-human animals? You see, like I said, there has been numerous, dare I say a plethora of different answers that have been thrown out, such as it's our ability to create and imagine, our ability to use tools, make buildings, come up with solutions to problems, to make something out of nothing. Another answer I've seen comes from Aldo Leopold in his poem on the momentum to a pigeon, which was read at the funeral of the now extinct species, the passenger pigeon. His answer of what makes us different was our grief, our empathy. Not just our grief and empathy towards others, but for species completely other than our own. And while I personally don't disagree with either of these answers, however, I don't think that's the full story. I think there's something else that I think is a better answer, and I'd like to offer that answer. I believe what separates us from animals is our ability to do the impossible. Throughout all of humanity, that word, impossible, has haunted us. We were told it'd be impossible to go across the seas, it'd be impossible to fly, impossible to see and go to the stars. And in my own personal experience, impossible to say a full sentence in my life. You see, at a young age, I was diagnosed with very low functioning autism, and doctors told my mother that I would never be able to say a full sentence in my life. It's impossible. By all rights, I should not be here speaking to you according to those doctors. However, my mother, of whom's resolve was passed on to me, it's true, did not accept this as a final answer. Instead, for 3 years, she went to 9 therapy sessions a week just so I can say a full sentence. And after all that work, I was able to do it. It was a little anticlimactic. It was, what dad, big wet balloon, Not, it's nothing to be proud about, but to me and to my parents, that sentence meant that not only that this is working, but that the impossible wasn't truly possible. And it was due to my mother's and my father's efforts I was able to do that impossible. Later in life, I overcame many other impossibilities, such as graduating high school, getting into college, and of course, graduating college. While my story may be unique, I can say in full confidence that many of you, my peers, share elements of your story with mine and have heard that word, impossible. But, like humanity incarnate, we overcame it. We are the doers of the impossible. Through our will, our resolve, our determination, and the support for those who care for us, we make the impossible possible. And I ask you, the audience, my peers that I have gotten to know over these past 4 years, I ask you to continue this mentality. While today is the last day of our journey that we set on 4 years ago, today is not the last day you hear that word, impossible. In the future, there will still be people who try to underestimate you. And to that, I ask you, prove them wrong. And do what we've done in the past. Be human and do the impossible. Thank you, everyone, for listening. However, I appreciate it. I'm not quite done. I know I yap a lot. I'd be incredibly foolish not to give a special thank you to my friends, to my mentors, to my brothers, my father, and my mother, and my dog. For without them, I truly would not have been able to overcome this impossibility of standing here before you today. Love y'all.
You certainly cannot beat those three speeches. Thank you again, and again, congratulations to each of you for earning these prestigious awards. Among the special privileges of an institution of higher learning at its commencement is the awarding of an honorary degree by the Board of Trustees. The recipient of such an honor exemplifies in his or her life and work the values and traditions held dear by the college. Certainly, the two recipients of the Doctorate of Humane Letters today are especially deserving of the degree we are about to bestow. It is my pleasure to call upon Mr. Darrell Owens, Beacon College's Associate Vice President of Communications and Engagement, to preside over the awarding of these degrees. It is also my privilege to now call Dr. Jason Eichenholz to the front of the stage to be joined by Board Chair Averbeck and President George Haggerty.
Good morning. First, I have to say, it's kind of rotten that I have to come up here after hearing Charles, who clearly has a future as a TEDx speaker. Okay, so great job. Okay. All right. Why not change the world? Every morning, Jason Eichenholz, you ask yourself this question. I'm sorry. I didn't know both of them standing at the same time. All right. All right. All right. Sorry about that. All right. I'll start again. Why not change the world? Every morning, Jason Eichenholz, you ask yourself this question, which fuels your purpose to create bold new possibilities by addressing complex and critical challenges, fusing technology, entrepreneurship, and philanthropy. You work as a scientist, innovator, entrepreneur, philanthropist, that's a tough word, and in your most important role, father. And this has helped make your mantra not only a daily affirmation, but also a daily reality, especially for individuals with learning differences and neurodiversities that you and we at Beacon College support and serve. You are a true pioneer in laser and optics-enabled technologies and have changed the world in ways few can. From revolutionizing self-driving vehicles to advancing early cancer detection, environmental research, and even military safety, your innovations have touched countless lives. Your life's work exemplifies the power of vision and perseverance through which you have unleashed an unwavering dedication to break down barriers and build a more inclusive world, a world that you tirelessly worked to change. As co-founder and former chairman of Luminar Technologies, you did not just develop groundbreaking technology, you opened new doors for millions, especially those whose disabilities once limited their freedom and opportunities. Your vision and dedication have left a lasting impact, and the world is better because of it. As founder and chairman of Jonathan's Landing Foundation, you continue to change the world for the better, for adults with autism and their families, creating a future of neuro-inclusive cities and workplaces. Building on your unique ability to envision solutions others have never dreamt of, your foundation is integrating cutting-edge innovation, applied learning in data analytics, and the power of community relationships to architect a better future that will allow neurodiverse adults to truly thrive. Retired U.S. Senator Tom Harkin, the author of the Americans with Disabilities Act, was inspired to advocacy by his brother Frank. For you, advocacy is driven by the love for your son, Jonathan, an adult with autism who has an amazing curiosity, an engaging personality, and an innate ability to clear phone notifications faster than perhaps anybody else on the planet. Through Jonathan's Landing, you will create residential and meaningful employment opportunities for people like Jonathan, who otherwise face what has come to be known as the services cliff. This resonates deeply with Beacon's own values of empowerment and opportunity. Your support of Beacon's mission and the work you are leading with Jonathan's Landing, work using an open source model that can and will empower others, show that you are indeed a world changer. We cannot think of a more inspiring influence for our students, graduates, and partners. Therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Beacon College, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining, and cause you to be invested with the hood appropriate to that degree.
I kind of want to meet that guy. Hey, buddy. Thank you very much. President Haggerty, distinguished faculty, staff, graduates, families, friends, and of course you students. It's a profound honor to stand before you today and accept this honorary degree from Beacon College. I am deeply, deeply humbled by this recognition and, of course, that citation. This is incredibly meaningful for me. It's meaningful for me because I have so much gratitude for this recognition because of what this very institution represents. It represents a beacon of hope, opportunity, and as we've seen today, transformation for students with learning differences. There are a lot of proud parents in this room who are absolutely beaming today. I'm guessing most of you graduates would not be here today without the support of your family. And I think we would all be remiss if we didn't hear it for the families today who made today possible. Now, Daryl, thanks to you, Dr. Haggerty, and the Board of Trustees, there are now 2 more proud parents in the room today. The best part of today for me, of all of it, is now my mom, who's sitting here in the front row, can brag to all of her friends that her son has 2 doctorates. As I look out at the graduates today, we all see the academic achievement, but we see more. We see a profound personal journey, a profound victory in getting here today. Each and every one of you graduates have navigated a world that was not designed for your very unique intellectual capabilities. Yet, here you stand, graduates of an amazing institution refusing to be defined by those limitations that others put on you. Why? Because you've been distinguished by perseverance, creativity, and remarkable capacity to learn, and in doing so, adapted to the world in ways that no one ever thought possible. As you heard about my entrepreneurship journey, I've learned a lot in doing that. But my most important learning has been as a parent to my son, Jonathan, and my daughter, Ella. That experience has taught me lessons far more valuable than anything I ever discovered in a boardroom. Jonathan, who's on the autism spectrum and sitting right there in the front row, has one of the most creative problem-solving minds I've ever encountered. Jonathan has shown me that different isn't less. Different isn't less, it's simply different. His perspective of the world has opened my eyes and countless others to new ways of thinking, new ways of engaging with each other, and new ways of connecting. Through his challenges and triumphs, very similar to triumphs each of you have had, he's taught me patience, the importance of understanding, and the raw power of meeting people where they are. When Jonathan was diagnosed with autism, the questions that flooded my mind weren't like the questions that each of every one of you parents and families had and experienced along your journey to today. What does his future hold? Where will he find a meaningful job and community and acceptance? How will he be independent? Graduates, here at Beacon College, you boldly began to answer those questions for people around you and gave solace to your families that you could do this. What you've gained here goes far beyond what you learned in textbooks. You've adapted to our world with self-awareness, resilience, and adaptive strategies that are increasingly valuable in an ever-complex world. You understand that sometimes, unfortunately, many may never learn that our differences can be our greatest strengths. Our society is slowly awakening to what the families that started Beacon College have been championing for decades. Neurodiversity represents an essential form of human variation that enhances our collective capabilities. In a world facing unprecedented challenges, we need minds that work differently, see differently, and solve so many outstanding problems differently. The most innovative companies are discovering what you already know, and what we in this room already know, that diverse thinking leads to better solutions. Your unique cognitive profile is not something to overcome, graduates. It's something to leverage. The adaptability you've cultivated is not a compensation mechanism. It's a competitive advantage. As you move forward through this milestone day, and this is a great day for all of us here to celebrate with you, I offer 3 thoughts. First, own that difference. The world does not need more minds that think alike. It needs your unique perspective, your distinctive approach to problems, your ability to see what others will often overlook or miss. Second, practice radical empathy, something that's gravely missing in this world. Having navigated a world that was not designed for you, you possess a rare capacity to understand other people's struggles. Use this gift to build bridges of understanding for others. Third, create the environments you wish had existed for you. Whether in the workplace, as you advance there, in communities, your personal relationships, build spaces that accommodate and celebrate differences. Be the architect of inclusion you sought while you were on your own individual journey. The diploma that you're going to receive later this morning represents far more than academic achievement. It symbolizes your readiness to contribute your distinct gifts to a world desperately in need of new approaches. I accept this honorary degree with gratitude, but also a promise to continue working alongside institutions and leaders, places like Beacon College, to build a world that recognizes what you already know, that different minds are an asset to be valued, not a problem to be solved. As we continue to build Jonathan's Landing Foundation, we will be developing comprehensive residential communities for adults with autism, and Tectonic, our first of many social enterprises, creating pathways to meaningful employment and careers for neurodiverse individuals. I understand that initiatives like this aren't about building housing or providing jobs. They are my pledge to each and every one of you in this room to create spaces where different minds are celebrated and where neurodivergence is seen as the asset it truly is. As I look out at all the graduates here today, I'm verklempt for how great you guys are, and I see a world of possibilities in each and every one of you. I hope you recognize that in yourselves and each other. Congratulations to the class of 2025 of Beacon College. The future is waiting for exactly who you are. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Eichenholz. What a magnificent and visionary journey you've traveled, and what beautiful words. It is now my distinct honor to call Mr. Roy Haley to the front of the stage to again be joined by Board Chair Dr. Averbeck and President Haggerty.
Roy W. Haley, you've said it wasn't that we were poor, we just didn't have any money. From humble beginnings in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, you began a journey defined not by circumstance, but by grit, humility, and purpose. As a student, you were at the top of your class president, and football team captain. A neck injury hindered your athletic ambitions, but it also revealed your resilience. Your lifetime of experiences reminds us that leadership is not measured by awards or accolades, but by the impact one makes in the lives of others. You have always been a quiet but confident leader. Your intellect and determination led to a degree from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and your acumen carried you to the top of the corporate world, a partner at Arthur Andersen, COO at American General Corporation, and for 14 years, chairman and CEO of Wesco, a Fortune 500 company. Yet, your greatest legacy lies in the many impacts you've made through board service and philanthropy. You provided guidance to institutions from Carnegie Mellon University to the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, but it is your steadfast support of organizations serving children, families, and individuals with disabilities that speaks most powerfully to your character. You and your wife, Dee, have transformed lives. Through your support of Orlando Health, you helped establish the world-class Haley Center for Children's Cancer and Blood Disorders, expanded one of the world's largest neonatal intensive care units, and strengthened care for children and families at the Howard Phillips Center for Children and Families. Time and again, your actions have brought comfort, healing, and hope to those most in need. At Beacon College, you have seen potential where others might have seen limits. You have championed our mission and created opportunities to help secure our students' futures. You created the Beacon Scholars Scholarship Program, helping our highest need students continue college, created paid internships as a critical step for our students to find worthy work, and made critical investments in constructing a true campus for Beacon. All because you believe in caring for the whole student, not just the mind, but the body and spirit too. You are a builder of companies, of communities, of possibilities. And through it all, you've remained grounded in the values instilled by your upbringing: empathy, humility, and service. You've never sought recognition. You've described yourself not as a philanthropist, but as someone doing small things with great love. In honoring you, we affirm those values and celebrate the profound impact of a life lived with purpose. Therefore, by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Beacon College, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining, and cause you to be invested with the hood appropriate to that degree.
You didn't notice that I had my own uniform consultant, did you? Well, I just want to say how thankful and appreciative I am of this honor, and Darrell, without hesitation, I'm going to accept it. Perhaps the most proud person in my life would be my mother. She's no longer with us, but she had more stories to tell, and everyone had to try to figure out whether this lady had all of her marbles. She lived in an assisted living facility for 15 or more years, and on my dutiful visits with her, she would parade me around to see her friends and neighbors, and she always made sure that I was there at lunchtime so we could go to every single table and she could show off her prize. And at each table, the people would sort of get up from eating their mushy string beans and look. And the first question they would ask is he the doctor? And she would say, no, he's not the doctor. That's my other son. And so then she'd go to the next person and they would say, did you say he's not a doctor? And she'd say, right, he's not a doctor. And she would give them a snarky answer. And she would say, he's in business. So today, I think she would be very pleased. And of course, I'm very pleased. And the rest of my family is very pleased, and we're all honored to be here today. I want to call out a couple of people because they just made marvelous presentations, and they've left me toward the end so that you can compare not so good to very good. So there's Dr. Riley, who kicked this off, Dr. Averbeck, who followed that. Then we had Darrell, of course, and Dr. Eichenholz. What an impressive background he has. Also, I can't get by without talking about Justin and Charles and Marissa and their wonderful presentations from the heart. And I need a copy of that book of Boba Fett. I have a special person to give it to. Last night, I threw away my speech notes. And the reason was Dr. Averbeck, in his talk to the parents last night, said something about a boy from Louisiana. And then others would say, and ask me typical questions, did you go to MIT? And I said, yes, I did. And they would say, how in the world can a poor boy from Louisiana get into MIT? And I usually had to come up with some BS answer to make it look like it was a real story. But there were a lot of answers to that. I transferred in, so in some respects I had a harder time because transfers to a place like MIT or other high-end universities is just usually not in the cards. And when they ask a big crowd of first-year students, which I was obligated to attend, even though I was starting as a sophomore, they ask everybody in this room, plus several hundred students, how many of you made perfect 800s on your SAT scores? And I looked around and everybody in the room, but two other fools and me, raised their hand. And all of a sudden, I knew what I was up against. Something very different. There are very smart people in this world, and they exist in all corners, all segments of society. They all have different backgrounds, and yet very smart people. So For me, it was quite a journey, in part because I never submitted an application. I never received a brochure or course magazine, a course catalog. I never visited a campus and showed up for the very first day, knowing nothing. Now, you think you were fearful and a little scared. I was as well, because all I kept hearing was, I don't know if you're going to be able to get along with those people in Boston. You know how they can be. And so, a couple of weeks later, we only could make phone calls every 2 weeks because it cost so darn much back in those days. Any of you families remember that? When you can't make it because you don't have enough quarters? Well, I had a girlfriend then, and she said, how's things going? Are they making fun of you? And I said, no, they just make fun of my accent. She said, why, Roy? You don't have an accent. But some people can make fun of just about anything, and you have to learn that you can be willing to laugh with them. Sometimes it's easier than to get angry with them. And I encourage you to continue, whatever defense mechanisms you've had to develop over time, that you realize that that is also, as one of the prior speakers said, a true asset that you can work to your advantage over time. So the first question is, how does somebody like you ever get into a school like MIT? The second question is, well, what did you learn? Well, I learned that I was not nearly as smart as I thought I was. And I learned that I didn't know enough about the educational system there to be effective. And they had nothing like your counselors, your learning specialists, and others to help bridge those gaps. You just had to work your way through. The biggest difference is I had progressed and been somewhat successful at working my way through school because, for whatever reasons, I had a really good memory at the time. Fading fast, by the way. My first exam at MIT covered 17 books. 17, stacked this high, of books to read and understand. I get to the place where they have the test, the little magazine booklets that you open, and multiple choice questions, things of that nature. And I had, over time, learned how to know exactly what I knew and what I didn't know, so that I could spend more time on what I didn't know and kind of breeze through, if I could, those things that I did know. On this particular test, it was a major first test in effect, organic chemistry, which most physicians have to take and succeed at. 50 questions, all multiple choice. My score even embarrassed me. Out of 50, I didn't get as many as I could by simply saying A, B, C, pick one. B, C, D, pick one. I could have done better that way, but I tried to answer the questions as best I could. And I had 2 questions out of 50. And my score put me at not only the bottom, but down on the floor of the listing of students and how they had performed on that test. The problem was I didn't understand the educational model used at MIT. And when I first got connected with Beacon College, the truth is I had no way of really understanding the educational model. At MIT, the educational model was you need to study hard. You need to learn what we teach you. But when it comes to test time, it's not going to be about what you studied. It's going to be how you apply yourself to things that you haven't studied or that you don't know. So my memory skills were useless. I could tell you on what page and what book, how far down or up on the page, almost any of the questions might have related to. I just didn't have the right questions. Had the right answers. I could find the right answers, but that was not the problem. The problem is, what do you know, and how do you apply it to what you don't know? Beacon College has a really important emphasis on that skill itself. Have any of you seen that before? What you know versus what you don't know? A few, okay. How many of you, if you wouldn't, just so you can show the audience, how many of you have heard or used the word workaround? Hey, applying what you know to what you don't know is simply a workaround. Nobody ever told me that. I never figured it out, really, for a couple of years. But it became the basis for the rest of my career. Problem solving is viewed as a huge skill. Lots of consultants make their living on problem solving. For a long time, I did as well. However, not having problems to solve is even better. That's called preparation. And I think most of you have learned at Beacon that you need to be prepared when you go to class. You need to have done your homework. You need to be ready to participate. And that was a big difference for me. My skill had been sitting in class, absorbing, not having to work too hard in preparation, answer all the questions, and know a few that you missed. That doesn't work in real life. Real life is about workarounds, lots of workarounds. You may know some people that have this particular experience. I know some young people who just hated to do the detail. They have a problem, often a math problem, but it could be other problems. And then a math problem that the teacher wants to see every step in the way of how that problem is solved. They want to see all the lines so that they know you know the methodology for solving the problem. These students could look at the problem, think about it, and then put the right answer down without ever going through those 14 steps, or 8 steps, or 6 steps. And guess what? Those are the kids that get accused of cheating. Nobody can answer that without already knowing the answer. Where did you get a copy of the test, and so forth? They didn't realize the power of seeing the answer as opposed to writing or putting it in paper. A huge difference over time. Now that lesson alone and the focus on workarounds has caused me to realize that maybe I had a learning deficiency, if not a behavioral issue like ADHD. When I was young, they say he never stopped running. He never stopped knocking things off of tables and cabinets. He got in trouble because he kept running and not listening. And yet, I did quite well, in part because there was an intuitive way of getting past that and of solving problems. And I know with your background and experience, learning from, in high school, I'll call it the School of Hard Knocks, and then coming here and being welcomed in a unique way, that you too have learned the power of some of these simple ideas and the recognition of what your strengths really are and how broadly those strengths might be used. I'm very proud of George Haggerty, Oksana, my good friend, Rich. If you don't know him, you need to say hello. Rich Killian over here. He's in the development office. I have been so pleased with the results that they have produced and the energy that they apply to doing things bigger, better, faster for their students here at Beacon. I could probably go on for a long while, but my wife is already looking at her phone wondering how long I've been talking. And she keeps reminding me, you only had 5 minutes now, remember. So I'm not going to drag this out, but I am so proud of all the students here, even though I don't know you. I'm very proud to have spoken briefly with a few of you, and I already know how significant your capabilities can really be. Thanks for the acknowledgement and for the honorary degree. It'll be really interesting to see how others receive that. So thanks so much, and have a good day.
Dr. Haley, thank you for gracing us with such a powerful message and example. Congratulations. I have one minor quibble with your speech. As someone from up there in Boston, I don't think I'm that hard to get along with. I now call Dr. George Haggerty, the third president of Beacon College, to the podium. For those of you following along closely in your programs, it's that time. We now prepare to affirm and celebrate in a very public way the achievements of our soon-to-be distinguished alumni, Beacon's class of 2025. Members of the class of 2025 of Beacon College, by virtue of your academic accomplishment and upon the vote of your faculty and the Board of Trustees, you have been awarded your undergraduate degree from a proud collegiate community. To all gathered here, it is now my privilege to present the class of 2025 of Beacon College. Will the candidates for the degree of Associate of Arts and Associate of Science please rise? President Haggerty, on behalf of the faculty of Beacon College, I take great pleasure in presenting to you the candidates for the degrees of Associate of Arts and Associate of Science, each of whom has fulfilled all academic requirements for these degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Beacon College in the state of Florida, I do hereby confer upon you the degrees of Associate of Arts and Associate of Science in accordance with your course of study, with all honors, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining.
Professor Michael Fallon, Beacon College faculty member in the Business Management program, will be reading the names of all degree recipients.
Yassine Mansour, Associate of Arts and Humanities. Quinn S. Bullock Beverly, Associate of Science, Computer Information Systems, magna cum laude. Isaiah J. Diaz, Associate of Science, Computer Information Systems. Lindsay Marie Falkowski, Associate of Science, Business Management. Lily Maloney, Associate of Science, Computer Information Systems.
Congratulations to the Associate of Arts and Associate of Science degree recipients of Beacon College's class of 2025. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please rise? President Haggerty, on behalf of the faculty of Beacon College, I take great pleasure in presenting to you the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, each of whom has fulfilled all academic requirements for these degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Beacon College in the state of Florida, I do hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts, with all honors, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining.
Will the Bachelor of Arts graduates now follow Registrar Santaw to the platform?
Cade James Barker, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology, magna cum laude. Ayla Burke Pryor, Bachelor of Arts, Studio Arts, cum laude. Bryce Contreras, Bachelor of Arts, Studio Arts, summa cum laude. Tess Gordon, Bachelor of Arts, Human Services, summa cum laude. Joshua Price Hansen, Bachelor of Arts, Humanities, cum laude. Uma Lazoff, Bachelor of Arts, Human Services. Jacob Blair Lawrence, Bachelor of Arts, Humanities. Corrine Joseph, Bachelor of Arts, Human Services. Bix Alexander Meyer, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology, magna cum laude. Luis Munoz Vasquez, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology, summa cum laude. Jacob O'Brien, Bachelor of Arts, Humanities, summa cum laude. Ross Evan Pergament, Bachelor of Arts, Humanities. Zonjay M. Perkins Anderson, Bachelor of Arts, Studio Arts, cum laude. Hassana Annette Junie Robinson, Bachelor of Arts, Studio Arts, cum laude. Michael Ryan Schneider, Bachelor of Arts, double major, Studio Arts and Computer Information Systems, summa cum laude. Adonis Zaire Tomer, Bachelor of Arts, Humanities. Jax Whelan, Bachelor of Arts, Human Services, cum laude.
Congratulations, Bachelor of Arts degree recipients.
Well, it's Kevin's first year, so it's going to...
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science please rise? President Haggerty, on behalf of the faculty of Beacon College, I take great pleasure in presenting to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science, each of whom has fulfilled all academic requirements for these degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, of Beacon College in the state of Florida, I do hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Science with all honors, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining.
Will the Bachelor of Science graduates now follow Registrar Santa to the platform?
Marissa Lauren Branch, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems, summa cum laude. Isaac Ashe, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems, magna cum laude. Christian C. Kakanos, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems, cum laude. Noah S. Coopersmith, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems, summa cum laude. Alexander J. Evdokimo, Bachelor of Science, Business Management, summa cum laude. Caleb Freiheit, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems. Madeline Frances Fry, Bachelor of Science, Anthrozoology, summa cum laude. Colin Graves, Bachelor of Science, Anthrozoology, cum laude. Justin Lewis Sensi, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems, summa cum laude. Riley Green, Bachelor of Science, Anthrozoology, magna cum laude. Mary Catherine Haskelo, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems, summa cum laude. Maurice Seth Harare, Bachelor of Science, Anthrozoology, magna cum laude. Jacob Alexander Holland, Bachelor of Science, Business Management, summa cum laude. Samira Isa, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems. Paris Klein, Bachelor of Science, Anthrozoology. Benjamin Daniel Korb, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems, summa cum laude. Gabriel D. Lechtman, Bachelor of Science, Business Management, magna cum laude. Phoenix Lehman, Bachelor of Science, Anthrozoology, cum laude. Charles Louis Dion, Bachelor of Science, Anthrozoology, summa cum laude. Logan Marine, Bachelor of Science, Anthrozoology. Logan Andrew Marks, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems, magna cum laude. Sloan A. Morgan, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems, cum laude. Andrew John Newberger, Bachelor of Science, Business Management, magna cum laude. Nathan Pasapathy, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems. Alyssa Perez, Bachelor of Science, Business Management. William Kent Piper, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems, magna cum laude. Davis Michael Pohar, Bachelor of Science, Business Management. Ethan Rice, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems. Veronica Caitlin Sanchez, Bachelor of Science, Anthrozoology. Ilana Solomon, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems, magna cum laude. Sabrina Gabrielle Stanley, Bachelor of Science, Anthrozoology, summa cum laude. Benjamin Strauss, Bachelor of Science, Business Management. Benjamin Harris Sweetland, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems, business minor. Colin Swider, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems. Enzo F. Tomasoni, Bachelor of Science, Business Management, summa cum laude. Congratulations. Samuel Max Underwood, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems. Angeli Van Loo, Bachelor of Science, Anthrozoology, magna cum laude. Matthew Zimmerman, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems. Vasi Wester, Bachelor of Science, Computer Information Systems, summa cum laude. Zaire Alexander Walker, Bachelor of Science, Anthrozoology, cum laude. Jordique Vincent, Bachelor of Science, Business Management, summa cum laude.
Congratulations to the Bachelor of Science degree recipients of Beacon College's class of 2025. Graduates, you may now move your tassels from the right side of your cap to the left. Beacon graduates, you are now part of a new and larger community of loyal alumni whose lives have been shaped and transformed by the Beacon experience. In May of 2014, Heather Reed Daly shared the excitement and pride that you are experiencing today, her graduation day. Heather returned to Beacon and now serves as the college's Assistant Director of Student Involvement and Leadership. It is my pleasure to call upon Ms. Reed Daly to formally welcome you to your new place among Beacon's proud alumni.
Good morning, faculty, family, friends, and our graduating class of 2025. It is a privilege to stand before you today and congratulate you on your remarkable achievements. Your hard work and dedication have been noticed, and I am filled with immense pride. Each of you is a testament to the power of perseverance and determination. We may not have interacted personally over the years, but I've watched as each of you navigated many life lessons and aha moments. Upon arrival, you embarked on a journey of self-discovery, self-pride, and self-worth. While setting your paths ablaze, you've become individual leaders and trailblazers and our Beacon Blazers. Before you leave this ceremony and enter your post-Beacon life, I want to emphasize on the importance of staying connected to the college. The Beacon's Alumni Association is a vital avenue for this. And it's my honor to welcome you to the college's, excuse me. It is my honor to welcome you to the college's Alumni Association, a community that will continue to support and inspire you. As a fellow graduate and now a student services staff member, Beacon College is fortunate to have the class of 2025 define the element of our community. Please join us as active and proud alumni. My fellow alumni, I want to reiterate my heartfelt congratulations and warm welcome to you all. Your achievements are a testament to your hard work, and I look forward to seeing the great things you will do and accomplish as a part of the alumni community. Thank you, and congratulations again.
Thank you, Heather, and welcome to our newest alumni. I now invite Dr. Haggerty back to the podium to offer concluding remarks.
All right, I need a very, now that you have your degrees, I need a very truthful response to what I'm about to ask you. How many of you have been to Grandpa Joe's? Let's hear it. Okay. Mystic Ice Cream? Parents and family, this is where your money went. I'm telling you right now. And by the way, Grandpa Joe's, I went in for the first time the other day, and they said that, first of all, you are the class that has purchased most out of all of the classes. And secondly, they do have a message, a public service message to your parents. Make sure that your son or daughter goes to the dentist within a month of arrival. Well, in about a month, I'm going to my 50th reunion. Now, I had a wonderful undergraduate experience, as I pray that you have. And so many things have changed dramatically. And I think what we hear from our two honorary degree recipients, Dr. Eichenholz and Dr. Haley, is that whatever changes may come, whatever challenges may come, we are all moving forward together. The challenges right now are societal, they are institutional. It just is a time when you're going to have to dig down deep into your core and remember that you have a Beacon education. And one of the testaments to the life abundant is your moral compass. And so that's enormously important. The two individuals who received their honorary degrees, their compass goes to true north. They know that they have been given gifts, and they're willing to embrace others with those gifts. So I want to thank both Dr. Eichenholz and Dr. Haley for being here today. And now to you, the graduates of the class of 2025. How magnificent you are. How beautiful. And you're bright, and you're talented, you're persevering, you're determined, and you're devoted to each other. You've been a wonderful class, a class that came in with COVID and goes out with AI. You see, we all celebrate here. Every single one of us celebrates and congratulates you because you are our most enduring legacy. Mark Twain once said that there are the two most important days in your life are the day that you were born and the day that you figure out why. This is certainly a day when we can say this is part of the why. It's an important part of the why. But you know, there are others who have come to that why in a very special way. And they are your parents, and they are your faculty and staff, and you are part of their why. And they're enormously proud of that. So I'm going to ask you to stand and for you to thank your parents and the faculty and staff of Beacon College. So could you do that for me and thank them? Thank you very much. You may be seated. I know you want to walk out of here, but you may be seated. I'll be short. I'll be short. This has been an era of new horizons for us. We've done so many things in 4 years. We've done it together. We're overseas. We have intercollegiate athletics that everybody can enjoy. We have new academic programs. Our first two groups have gone to Tokyo, which I never thought would happen because we had planned on doing that just before COVID hit. And we are just enormously happy that we have had this opportunity for you to have these international experiences in Tuscany and Tokyo, for your internships, for some of the really interesting things that you've been able to do. And we will keep on going because the reality is, and I've said it to your parents, and the faculty know and feel the same way, we want you to have first, and we've always wanted you to have first. You've had the courage of responsibility. That's big. And I'm not talking just about the Responsible Community Initiative that we all knew, sometimes didn't like. I'm talking about having the courage to come to an institution where you knew nobody and were concerned that you had the tools. And what you found here was that you have the tools. We knew that you could do the academic program. We knew that you could do well. And your faculty and staff knew something else too, and this is inherent, and I said it the other day at the memorial service for Dr. Nikki Nance, who we all missed. I'm a devotee of Viktor Frankl, who was a psychologist, preeminent psychologist in the 20th century. And he has this notion of improving yourself, improving the world, and he calls it self-transcendence. And what he says, if you're going to be an educator, if you're going to be a human service provider, if you're going to be anything in serving people, they're here. That's where they are when they come to you. And they may think they can get here. But your job is to take them up here, no matter how much they don't think they can do it. Because for certain, giving them the greatest opportunities to think big is what it's all about, self-transcendence. And so you may not have known this, and it's a little trick. Your faculty put you up here. Your staff put you up here. And my guess is that you have exceeded your ambitions. And hopefully your families feel the same way. So, in closing, I know you love that. In closing, heed the call of Henry David Thoreau, who said, "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life that you have imagined." Graduates of the class of 2025, my dear graduates of the class of 2025, live that life well. And live that life abundantly. And, in the spirit of Bob Dylan, may you stay forever young. Thank you.
It has been my honor to preside over this celebration, the 35th commencement of Beacon College. I ask the audience to please rise in honor of our graduates as those in regalia recess out of the venue. I also ask you to remain in your seats until the final graduate has departed from the ceremony. Then there will, I promise, be ample time for celebrating. I now call the 35th commencement exercises of Beacon College to a close.